welcome Lesley Payne today to start us off with our first in a series of podcasts. I really appreciate you joining us. And so I think what I'd like to know really is a bit about, your start of your career and, when you first went to UCL and sort of your experiences. So, feel free to say what you want to and tell us what you think we'll be interested in.
Okay, well, I started UCL in 2011. My degree was a 3 years BA in Egyptian archaeology because I've always been interested in Egypt. I did want to study history, but I don't do languages, German or French. I can just about speak English, so German and French were a no-no for me. At the time of attending UCL, I did suffer from carpal tunnel in both my wrists and my hands. So writing notes was extremely difficult for me. And I was worried I wasn't going to be able to make all the notes and do the lessons because of not being able to write. I went to see you at the centre that helps people with disabilities. And I was also given equipment, a thing called Dragon, which records lectures. I was also given help with a new computer, things that I could rest my wrists on. I couldn't have done it. I literally could not have done my degree if it wasn't for the help from you and the Disability Centre at UCL and the outside sources, because I couldn't do the notes. And unfortunately, my second year, I had a very serious accident where I fractured my skull. And I ended up with a thing called paradoxical vertigo, which makes me go dizzy and so on and so forth. So sometimes I couldn't even attend lessons, but it was put in place that someone would actually take notes for me, and the notes were given to me so I could actually pass my degree, which was fabulous, because before I started my degree, I had to get enough credits in a college to attend a university, where unfortunately there was no help for people with disabilities, because the main aim of the college, no disrespect, is just to get you through it and out. Whereas in UCL, the Disability Centre, it was a godsend. It was an absolute godsend. I could not have done what I did, which was pass with a 2-1, thank you very much, without that help. And that gave me the confidence to go on and study for a master's, which I passed with a merit. And since 2016, I've been working in Egypt, Sudan, Cyprus, sometimes England, but it's too cold, as either an archaeologist, field archaeologist, or overseeing archaeological sites. For the past 3 years, I've been working at Comaletan, more commonly known as the Colossi Memnon, where I'm a field archaeologist. Last year, I was there for 7 months, and I was working as the overseer of a team of 60. But I couldn't have done it. I could not have done any of this if I hadn't have passed my degrees. And I wouldn't have been able to pass my degrees if it wasn't for the help from the Disability Suite at UCL. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Because you, Michele, helped me get through it.
Oh, thank you. But how did you find the whole process of, applying for the Disabled Students Allowance? What did you think of that? Did you find that accessible, or was it?
I did find it accessible. I did actually, because people helped me. I had to have examinations and bring doctor's letters and so on and so forth, which I think is correct, because if you have a disability, a real disability, and you need help, why would you not go to the doctors and get a letter saying this is what this lady is suffering from, so on and so forth? So I did find it not a hard process, to be honest.
Yeah. Did you find it was sort of fast to get the equipment, or was it quite slow?
No, it was a bit slow. It did take at least between 4 to 6 months from the moment of attending for the interview to see what actual equipment I needed to the actual equipment being delivered to me at home that I could then take into university. So I did struggle for 6 months, but I did go to the Disability Suite and I did get help there for those 6 months where I was waiting for the Dragon or the special computer, for the special wrist holders that I could actually use a computer with. But for the first 6 months, you're always wondering, when is it coming? Because I'd like to do the work myself instead of asking someone else to write the notes for me.
Yeah. With the Dragon voice dictation, speech dictation, did you, or voice recognition, I should say, did you find it was very easy to start using it, or did you find
No,
it?
I found it quite difficult, actually, to be quite honest. I mean, I did get there in the end, but no, I did find it quite difficult to use in the end, in the beginning. But then I had some training in it, and I did. What I found easier for me was if I brought in a tape recorder,
Mhm.
and then I could tape the lecture, and then I could come home and pause it instead of pausing it on the computer. I found that I'm not very computer literate, I'll be honest. So I found it easier because they did supply me with a recorder. I did it that way as well. So I had two things helping me, the Dragon and the tape recorder.
That's great. I mean, the other thing is I was sort of thinking about is because, again, being a disabled person, you've obviously had to kind of liaise with your council.
Yes.
How have you found their systems? Have you found it easy to engage with the systems they've got, or?
Well, I live just outside of London. I won't name the borough, but the one thing I'm 63. I don't class myself as old. The one thing I miss is talking to a human being. If you need to get something done, it's all automated, and sometimes the choices that you're given on the phone are not the choices you want, and it's very, very hard to get people, just a human being to speak to instead of computers all the time. That's the one thing that, I had something happen, and I needed the council to come round, and I couldn't actually get through to the correct department because there was only 4 choices on the phone, and that wasn't the choice I wanted. So no, I find my council, I mean, I could go into, like, I've lived here 20 years and there's no double glazing and it's freezing, but it doesn't matter. They don't care. Sorry, but they just don't care. It's funding and money. They just don't care. I have snow on the inside of my windows. I'm disabled. I suffer from the cold because I can't move about that much, and nothing's been done.
Yeah, that does sound pretty grim. So, I mean, if you had a message to them in terms of how they would change their services, what would you say to them?
My message is we need a human being on the end of the phone instead of an automated system. Even if it was just one person to say, okay, we don't have the choices on the automated system. Who do you want to speak to, and what do you need? That's all. Just a human being instead of automated. Everything's automated in computers. Not everybody is computer literate. I learned computers when I went to college and university. Before then, I knew nothing. I mean, I'm still very basic, but people older than me who are not quite used to the computer system or smartphones or stuff like that, I don't know how they get anything done, because who do they speak to? How do they do it?
I think that is a problem, because there is this assumption that because the world is becoming digital, that everybody can use it, and they don't realise that for some people it's just not. It just does not fit in the way that they think or they work. It's
No,
just,
not at all.
yeah,
Not at all. I
it's
mean,
difficult.
some people with problems, say mental health problems, may be scared of computers or may not want to use computers. Why are we being forced to do everything digitally? Why?
Mm. Yeah, I do agree with you that, because I mean, as a dyslexic person, I do struggle with a lot of these online systems, and also the online forms. And when you've got forms or documentation, and the language that's used as well sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was only because I've been to uni and college I can understand some of the language that's in some of the forms. I mean, sometimes you look at it and go, I need a degree to read this form.
Mm.
And also, where I live, there are no, I know this isn't about my accommodation, but where I live, there are no lift access to the trains, to the platform. You have to walk up and down 3 or 4 flights of stairs. If you want to use an access where you just step out, you have to go 4 stops from where I live, and then either catch a bus or walk back. Sometimes I've been stuck because I need to go somewhere, but I can't get there because there's no lift access.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I've noticed is, you go to a station and then sometimes there's just the one lift. So if that breaks down,
Yeah. But here
because
there is only one lift access
Mm.
in 8 stations.
yeah, no, one lift access in 8 stations is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is they hadn't really thought this through. As I say, I've had friends where they've got on the underground and then they've got to a station and then found the lifts out of action, and there's nobody there to help them off the train, and you just think, their whole day's wasted because they've had to go home. Then it's just does not work as a system, really.
No, we're cutting back on all the people that used to help us at the stations, or all the people that used to help you wherever you used to go. Now everything's automated. If you want to buy a ticket to go on a train journey, you have to go online because they're closing ticket offices.
Yeah. I was at my local station actually the other week, and I was having trouble because the ticket office was shut. There was only one ticket machine and it wasn't working.
Exactly.
So I was stuck because I couldn't go through the barrier. I couldn't, buy a ticket. I was completely stuck. So I had to get in my car and drive to another station to then be able to get on the train, which meant I'd miss my train as well. Yeah. It's just not. But I gather there's been something like 800,000 complaints about the ticket office shutting in the consultation. But are they going to listen? This is the thing. Will they listen to the population?
To the people that, that you're meant to be helping. The governments are meant to be helping us. We pay the taxes. But no, they don't listen. They don't listen at all.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, not just, disabled people. It leaves you, vulnerable as well at stations to violence or crime, because there's nobody there to,
manage.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I still remember the days of the underground having a guard on the last carriage, and we all used to congregate in there at night so that we felt safe.
But there used to be guards on the ticket. I mean, I'm not asking for the man with the ticket machine on the buses, but there's no one. Buses, no, there's no one. You don't feel safe.
No.
You don't feel safe going out when it's dark or early mornings or so on and so forth. You just don't feel safe.
Yeah. And as I say, then there's always the added level of being disabled as well, especially if you're physically disabled, because you're unable to, run away or fight or anything more. You've got no, and the only thing you've got on the stations is CCTV, so they can video you being attacked.
But they can't do anything. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is it. I think. I mean, do you think the world in itself now, with its design, or our society that's becoming more disabling by its design?
Yeah, definitely. If you're at a certain age where you're regarded as old, if you're disabled, you're just not part of society anymore. I've had to go to the doctors recently, and they say to me, what blood pressure tablets are on, what heart tablets are you on? I mean, I'm not on any of those. But because I'm over a certain age, I'm classed as, I should be on blood pressure, I should be on this, I should be on that. No, don't put everyone in the same box. We've all got, there are invisible disabilities, there are seen disabilities. Don't say we're all in the same package, because we're not. Just because I'm of a certain age, don't think that I've got to have this medication to keep me going. I don't. We're labelled and we're invisible. We are invisible.
Yeah.
Especially if it's an unseen disability, we are invisible.
Yeah. I think now, when you get past a certain age, you are classed as being, this invisible, troublesome group, really, aren't you? This is it. You're written off in so many ways that so much is put down to age instead of really thinking about what the needs are. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I've had to have physio, and the NHS chap said to me, "You're a high functioning hip replacement. We don't usually see people this active after a hip replacement." And it's like, okay, but why? Because why do you say that? Because not everyone with a hip replacement is the same. Some people do a lot of exercise and walk a lot after and go back to work, and some people don't. I mean, thank you. I know I'm a high functioning person with a hip replacement. I know I do try and do a lot of walking and exercise to keep the new hip and the new muscles supple. But I've now been written off. I only had 2 appointments with the NHS, which I had to wait 6 months for. And now he's actually said to me, we can't do anything for you because the next step will be shock therapy. And because you've had the hip replacement, we can't do it. So we're discharging you. It's like, okay. Now
shock therapy?
Shock.
SHOCK?
Where they shock the muscles and the tendons, yeah.
Wow, that sounds quite barbaric.
But I'm not having it, so it's all good.
Yeah, why did they do that?
Well, they can't do it to me because it would loosen the joint.
Wow. But what would be the purpose of
I think the shock is like electrodes to get the muscles contracting.
Oh, like TENS, TENS. Yeah.
But a high dosage one. I've got my own small one, but this is a high dosage one. But they can't let me do it because it may dislocate the new joint. Wow. So there's nothing more they can do for me. So they've discharged me.
And then you're stuck. You're basically stuck with what you're suffering from, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, that's not good. I think I really do despair of this world, I must admit. I really despair.
We're meant to be moving forward. I don't think we're moving forward at all.
No,